What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. This is another logo design challenge day, and today I'm going to be redesigning the Samsung logo. Let's get started. Alright, so I have here pulled up the Samsung logo history, and as you can see, there really is a lot going on. If we go all the way back to 1938 when they first started, obviously the progression of the logo looks very different from what we have now. And it looks like, for the most part, what we are familiar with now really started back in, wait a minute, this is all wrong. Look at this. This is great. They all have the exact same thing, 1938, 1969. Okay, well, this is not the best example. But the years don't really matter too much here. We're not really doing like a logo history, like a history lesson or anything like that with the logo. But I didn't realize that until just now. But yeah, so we've got, so right here in this area, we've got these little stars right here. And I actually kind of like those. So I'm going to see if I can maybe do something with that, but at the same time, you know, I've also got to keep in mind this is a global brand, and it goes on a lot of different products, so whatever we do has to be very, very simple. And I think that I am going to try to keep it to an actual logo type instead of having like an emblem of some kind, because, you know, I'm a big Samsung fan. I really like Samsung TVs, like Samsung and Sony, both of them. Me personally, I've never bought a bad Samsung TV before, and so I actually really enjoy seeing that Samsung logo on my TVs. However, there's definitely something to be desired here, I think, just in my personal opinion. I'm going to see if I can try to capture that today. So I am going to go ahead and set myself a timer. And let's go ahead and get started. And I am going to look at some Adobe fonts. And I'm gonna see what we can do here. So for the most part, like, you know, like I was saying that I want to do something that's different, but I also want to see if I can grab some inspiration from, you know, from the past, because I really do like it when companies are doing this kind of retro thing. So what I'd like to do is kind of a combination, you know, like a standard width, nice and heavy weight, and pretty even contrast all the way through. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. And as far as the logo type goes, you know what? I think I'm gonna actually get a little bit more of a compressed or a condensed typeface. And, you know, it needs to be, you know, this is a global brand that has all kinds of different products and services. So I'm gonna try to keep it to, you know, something that's pretty easily read all across the board. And I really like, sorry, I'm having breakfast right now. Okay, so this one right here, this Euro style, this really, really jumps out to me, and thankfully I've already got it activated. And I actually didn't know this, but apparently they have a condensed version, so I think I'm going to go with this. I've only got 20 minutes to put this together, so let's see what we can do. All right, so I am going to keep it all caps. You know, traditionally it has been all caps, so I'm going to keep it that way. And I'm going to see what I can do to bring in. All right, so I like the heavy right there. I actually really, really like this. So I think that for the most part, we'll just kind of see what we can do here. So like a heavy version of this. And what I'm going to do is, you notice right here, they've got a pretty good amount of tracking right here, and I've actually always liked that about this particular typeface. You can see it here and also here, and maybe a little bit here, but this is mostly you know, mostly pretty well kerned, but they don't have a whole lot of tracking here. But what I'm wanting to do is, I think I want to try to draw a shape and make sure that it stays, you know, that in general it stays within that shape. So I'm gonna make it a little bit arbitrary, but we'll see what we can do here for the most part. You know, because this is going on a lot of products. You know, it's going on TVs and it's going on all kinds of products where you don't really have to worry too much about horizontal space. And, you know, this is a, you know, it is a logo type for the most part. So I just want to make sure that it stays within this box. You know what, actually, I think I'm gonna, let's do this a little bit, just kind of push it out. You know what, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna push it out to here. Okay, so the actual border right there is not going to be part of the logo. I just want to make sure that we stay within the confines of this box, simply because it, you know, most of the time it appears in a horizontal space. All right, so I'm going to set this to optical, and I'm going to get some tracking going on here, and I think that I'm going to do no more than 100, and I actually really like how this is looking so far. So let me ungroup all of this. Since we have so few letters that we're actually working with here, I'm going to see what happens when we do auto spacing. So there's an exact amount of space between all of the individual letters and the bounding box that represents those letters. But, you know, that's not always the best case unless you're going with a mono font, and even then, you're not, you know, that's really not the best solution. Yeah, it really just depends on the characters that you're using. So as you can see here, the amount of space in between each one of these letters is exactly the same. So just wanted to illustrate how that all works, just in case you're not familiar with the distribution tool in Illustrator. It's really handy. So I think what we're gonna do is, I think I'm going to, since I'm already happy with the typeface itself, I'm going to just kind of adjust the spacing between the S and the A, because, you know, we've got like a nice straight edge going on with the S, but then we've also got that slanted edge going on with the A's. So you want it to be nice and consistent and even for the most part, and optically this is looking good, the space in between here. And then we'll do just kind of the same thing. Basically, I just want to make sure that it's consistent and that we've got good kerning across the board. Kerning is extremely important in typography. Okay, that's looking good. All right, and so like I was saying earlier, I'd like to figure out something with the stars. And I actually really like these. I think you could easily, I think you could go the route of making the A into a star, or at least like the top point of a star. So let me just kind of experiment with this here. There's all kinds of ways you can do this, but basically I'm just wanting to quickly create this star shape right here. And let me see, let's you know what, since I'm happy with this, let's go ahead and duplicate it so we can bring it down here. And I just want to see what it would look like if we replaced this A with this star shape. That's interesting right there, how it's kind of got that shape going on. This may be a little bit too abstract, but let's just see, let's see what it all looks like once we get the sizing right and everything. And then we will make it the same width as well. So that way it takes up the same amount of horizontal and vertical space. Okay, so interesting, but I could see how this could easily be misread as Samsung as well. So probably not the best way to integrate a star in here. So let's do something. I guess this is less of a star and more of a sparkle, isn't it? Because we've only got the 4 sides. But you could also say it's a four-sided star. So what if we did this? Actually, what if we did this instead? It's kind of like a Star of Bethlehem type of thing going on. But I think easily it could also get misread. But the key to to experimenting with logo design is, make sure that you try every idea that you have, because, you know, one idea could easily lead to another. Okay. I could see a lot of potential problems here, especially when you scale it down. It's still not immediately as recognizable. You know, I just had this thought. I think that when they did this A right here, they were probably calling back to that star, because it is in a way kind of like an abstract top part of the star itself. The only thing is, I've never really been a big fan of, you know, the contrast of the weights right here. Like, it's super thick right here, and then it goes real nice and thin over here. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but, you know, the fact that the S is consistent, the A is mostly consistent, the M is not at all, and neither is the N. You know, it just kind of, you know, it's always just kind of bothered me a little bit. So I think that even if we did something like this, because, you know, that technically it is a V, you know, and I don't want to just redesign the exact same thing again. I'd like to figure out some way that we can integrate something a little bit different. So let's make this the same height and also the same width. Oops. Oh wait, no, same height as this. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then we'll align it here. Perfect. All right, so it is very similar to what we're doing, although that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, this is something that you actually see pretty commonly whenever companies rebrand. They usually do something that's very familiar, because that, you know, it makes sense. You don't want to do something that's, you know, radically different. Let me do this real quick. We'll just round this down to 10.75, and then we'll round this up to 1.875. So we're distorting the text just a tad, so it's not the end of the world, I don't think. Let's see, we've got three letters, and then one in the center. So we've got something that's, you know, we've got something that's nice and, what am I trying to say here? You know, like we see an odd number of elements. There we go. If we were using a monospace font, then what I would probably do is figure out a way to put a star or sparkle, whatever you want to call it, probably directly above the S. But I kind of like the idea of putting it over here to the side. So let's experiment with that. And I'd like to figure out the exact spacing between that S and that M. And I really only chose those because they're nice and even on the sides. We're not dealing with slants, so it just makes it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, I do like this, although I don't want it to be quite as tall. I don't want that star to overpower anything. So what we'll do is we'll make it the exact same size, and then we'll just, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. And then we'll just divide it by 2. That may be a little bit too small, but what if you did something like this? It's not the end of the world, but there's really no reason to have the same emblem twice. So what was this, 1.875? What if we took it down by ½ an inch? Okay, that's much better. I like that. All right, so I'd like to try one more iteration of a star. Let me take a look at my timer. Okay, I've got just under 8 minutes, so I think I'm in good shape here. Again, I don't have my headphones plugged in, so I'm gonna have to keep on checking that. I don't know. I'm not gonna know exactly when it goes off. All right. So what if we did something a little bit more traditional? I think that if Samsung were to do a 5-pointed star, I think they would do an exact star like this. Although it is very generic, isn't it? Let me try something else here. So we'll use our Pathfinder to accomplish this. So basically what I'm wanting to do is create a shape out of this negative space right here. So go over here. And, you know, just like in, you know, just like I said earlier, there's all kinds of different ways to accomplish different things in Illustrator. So there could be a way that you like to do this, but this is the way that I like to do it. And the only downside of it is that sometimes you get some artifacts left over that you don't really want. So you have to really go in here and clean this up. And as you can see, we've got a little bit of ugliness going on here. What if we did something like that? Okay, and then no, that's not right. I think we are going to have to just kind of leave it with, I think we are just going to have to kind of leave it like that. Obviously, I would spend a lot more time on perfecting that sparkle if Samsung were actually paying me millions of dollars to do this. But they're not. Okay. Okay, so in terms of simplicity, I like the top one better. The only problem is that I feel like it's a little bit chunky, so it could easily take away from the rest of the logo. I think that the bottom one suits it a lot better. I think it complements it better. So I think that I'm gonna go with this one, and let's apply some color to it. So right now, their logo is just that logo type in that blue color, but I've always liked this this oval type of thing that they've got going on here. Although I don't know if I would actually do, I don't know if I would rotate it. So let's go in. What I want to do here is I want to go ahead and unite this, so that way it's all one shape and it's all grouped together exactly how we want it to be. And let me just kind of draw this shape right here, and then we'll just align it. Send it to the back, and let's grab this blue right here, and then we could just basically create a negative space. Okay, so I do like this, and we've got, let me resize this so we get a little bit more perfect. Okay, 12.5 by 1.875. And we will bring this, see, 12.5 plus 2 inches. And what was it, 3.875? Is that right? No, 1.875. Okay, well that's good actually, because that's adding 2 inches. Although I think we may need to add, yeah, so 1 more inch right up here. And let's see what it looks like. I just want to see what it looks like if we do rotate this. Obviously, we're trying to do something different, but now that I see it, I don't really know if the shape is necessarily necessary. So let's get a copy of it, move it over here, and get rid of the shape, and then just do the blue part right here. Okay, so I actually do like this a lot, and it kind of helps to signify it as a more premium brand. So you know, with that sparkle there, I actually really like that sparkle a lot. One thing I want to just kind of experiment with real quick is what would happen if we ungroup it, and let's see, we'll divide this by 4. I'm sorry, divided by 2. There we go. I just wonder what would happen if we went straight up old school with it and did something like this. Interesting. So it kind of looks like, you know, it looks a little bit too like Ninja Star-ish. So what if we did something like this? And you could easily do something like this, where you just kind of bring it down here. in a case like this, you don't necessarily have to make it even, but I think that I am going to make it even here, and it already is, so we're good. All right, so align this, and then we'll align this. Oh, hang on. My time may already be up. I'm just going to check it real quick after I do this. Okay. Let's see. How are we doing? Okay, we got a little, just under 2 minutes. Okay. From a distance, I actually do like it. When it gets really small, those details may get lost. That's why I might favor this right here. And I could also easily, more easily see this, you know, being stamped on a TV over this right here. So I think that I'm going to go with this, and it's really just kind of a combination of, you know, old versus new. We've got those sparkles that we're kind of bringing back in, or in this case that one sparkle. But I would like to see if just completely changing a typeface. Let's filter sans serif and just kind of see, like, what if we did something like Acumen. Because I really do, I really like all these, you know, these big chunky fonts and everything. So, see what it looks like in the blue. And you know, one thing, I just had this idea. What if I did that spark, or that sparkle, whatever, as red? That's interesting. You could do something like this, where you grab this, and then the Samsung itself could be black and red, so it could further it could kind of further that premium brand a little bit. You know, black and red are usually symbolic of a premium brand, especially when it comes to electronics. So, but yeah, I could easily see this on TVs, on what do they make? They make like Blu-ray players, DVD players, washing machines, you know, household appliances. I could easily see this right here, and I want to see what it looks like in all black. There we go. And then also let's reverse it. My time is probably up. I'm just going to go in and add this one last rectangle. I'm not doing anything that actually is contributing to the design, so I'm not cheating. Okay. All right. Yep. My time is definitely up. So let's go back here. Okay. So current Samsung logo, and then here is my new design. I think that I have decided, even though I really like those 3 sparkles a lot, I think I have decided on just the one sparkle, and could easily see it implemented on all kinds of different products across the board here. So I hope you enjoyed it. Well, thanks a lot for watching me redesign the Samsung logo today. I really had a good time doing it. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe at the bottom. It'll keep all these videos coming directly to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.